Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Chemistry Bug. Welcome. Today in Chemistry Bug we are going to discuss CSIR NET 2019 June question number 99, in which this substrate is treated with lithium HMDS, trimethyl silyl chloride, and then it is heated. In the second step it is treated with phenyl selenium chloride, and finally it is treated with H2O2 and then it is heated. So we have to predict what will be the major product. These are the four options and we have to find out the correct option. In the very first step, this substrate is treated with a base called lithium HMDS, which roughly translates into lithium hexamethyl disilazide. This base is I have shown here. Now this base is surrounded by 6 methyl groups, which makes it extremely bulky, and hence it is a non-nucleophilic base and does not form bonds with the substrate and prefers to abstract an acidic proton. As you can clearly see, this proton is acidic, so this base abstracts this proton and this oxygen takes up the lithium, and what we essentially get is we get this lithium enolate. In the very next step, this substrate is reacted with trimethyl silyl chloride. The peculiar reactivity of this is that there is an electronegativity difference between silicon and carbon, where silicon's electronegativity is 1.8 and carbon's electronegativity is 2.5. Therefore, this causes a delta positive charge to develop on silicon, and because there are 3 methyl groups and 1 chloride group, silicon is 4 times delta positive. Because of this large positive charge density, silicon is a hard center. Fine. And thus a hard center looks for a hard nucleophilic center in the substrate. Out of carbon and oxygen here, oxygen is much more harder than carbon, and hence this oxygen attacks this silicon atom and displaces your chloride ion. So what we get is this. The peculiar thing about silicon here is that silicon can accept these lone pairs on oxygen into its empty d orbital and hence strengthen this oxygen silicon bond. Because of the strong oxygen silicon bond, this trimethyl silyl group is used as a protecting group which isolates this double bond from this lone pairs on oxygen, and hence this double bond behaves as an isolated double bond. Now such kind of compounds called vinylic ethers are known to undergo a rearrangement called Claisen rearrangement or a 3,3 sigmatrophic shift, essentially meaning that if I start numbering from this oxygen and reach this carbon, a shift in bond occurs from 1,1 position to 3,3 position, which essentially occurs like this. And what we get is this compound. Now why does this reaction occur? For that we have to see which bonds are being broken in this moiety and which bonds are being formed here. Here if you clearly see, a carbon-carbon double bond is being broken. So a carbon-carbon double bond is replaced by a carbon-oxygen double bond here. A carbon-oxygen single bond here, which is there, that is broken, and a carbon-carbon single bond is formed. Now, a carbon-oxygen double bond is much more stronger than a carbon-carbon double bond, and a carbon-carbon single bond is much more stronger than a carbon-oxygen single bond. Therefore, there is a net gain of bonding energy here, and hence this compound is more stable, and hence because of that this reaction moves forward. Now, after understanding why this reaction occurs, next this substrate is treated with another reagent, which is essentially this. This reagent is similar to if selenium is replaced by sulfur or whether an alkyl group is used. And similar to an alkyl group, there is a delta positive charge on this selenium as well. Now, if we all know that selenium falls into the fourth period of the oxygen group, and hence it has a large orbital size, and this positive charge is relocalized on that large orbital, and hence this selenium is a soft center. Fine, it is a soft center. Now this soft center looks for a soft nucleophilic center in the substrate. We all know a carbon oxygen or oxygen is a hard center. So this one, carbon joined with a double bond, is a soft center. So now this double bond shifts like this, attacks on selenium, and chloride is displaced. So what we get is we get this compound with a positive charge on a secondary carbocation. That is the reason this double bond moves on this side, because if it moves on this side, you'll get a primary carbocation, and secondary is more stable than the primary carbocation. Now after this is formed, this lone pair on selenium, similar to the lone pairs on oxygen, can attack here and stabilize this positive charge, leading to the formation of this. Now all of you can clearly see that I have drawn this selenium bond little longer. The reason for this is, as I already told, the secondary carbocation is more stable, so there is more positive charge density in this intermediate on this carbon as compared to this carbon. Because of that, this positive charge shuffles between this carbon and selenium, and hence this selenium carbon bond is longer and hence weaker. So it is easier to break this bond. Knowing that, also we have a chloride counter anion here. Right? Now this counter anion has more affinity for silicon because chloride and silicon form or are found in the same period of the periodic table, and hence their orbital sizes match. So this chloride attacks this silicon, pushing this electrons forward, and this attacks here, breaking this weak carbon selenium bond. So what we get is this. So this is what we get. After this 5-membered ring, what we get is reacted with hydrogen peroxide, which is essentially this. Now the lone pair on selenium reacts with this oxygen, and this bond is broken essentially because the lone pair on these two oxygens repel each other and hence weaken this bond, and this oxygen acts as an electrophile here. Mind you, an electrophile that happens very rarely, and this bond is broken, and what we get here is this. Now this positive charge on selenium has to be neutralized, so this bond breaks, and what we finally get is this. So this is what we get. Now, a peculiar property of this compound, as we can clearly see, a positive and negative charge are separated by a distance, fine, and selenium falls in the fourth period of the periodic table and oxygen on the second, and hence their orbital sizes don't match, and hence this compound is not very stable. To stabilize itself, this compound, oxygen here, abstracts this neighboring proton here, and this bond pair moves here, and this selenium group is released out. So what we finally essentially get is this. So this is what we get. Now, a peculiar reactivity of this compound is this, that this hydrogen has to be cis to the selenium group for this reaction to occur, because it occurs through a 5-membered transition state. Right. And because of this syn reactivity, this reaction is called syn elimination. And because heat is required to make this reaction possible, it is called pyrolytic syn elimination. Fine. Now, why I am discussing this mechanism is that if a R group was present here, so initially in the final product, what we would have got is an R group here, and we would have got an Z alkene. Fine, we would have got a Z alkene. Fine. Just because R here is not present, it doesn't matter how the elimination occurs, but essentially it occurs in a syn fashion. So this is our final product. Coming to our correct answer of this question. Seeing the options 3 and 4, we can see that a 6-membered ring is formed. Now this 6-membered ring, if you remember, is formed if instead of a secondary carbocation, a primary carbocation is formed in the attack on selenium intermediate. But what we get is a 5-membered ring and a secondary carbocation. Hence, these two products are not possible. Moving on to the first and second product, we can clearly see that the position of double bond is exocyclic here and it is endocyclic here. But we get an exocyclic double bond, and hence option 1 is the correct answer. If you liked this video, kindly like, share, subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss an update.